Hello everyone. In this short video I will show you how to install Eclipse and how to get rid of the Java errors that occur sometimes when you're installing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just quick Google of Eclipse. I'm going to go directly to download. I am on a Windows machine. I will use the download 64-bit and I will download this application, save file, and we're just going to wait a second until we get it. Alright. And just like that, I have it right here. When I try to open it, I start getting a bunch of errors. Alright, and the issue here is that I do not have Java installed. So this will open this window, Java for Windows, and it's going to ask you to install the JDK. Now you might have heard of the JDK or the JRE, and what the heck are these? Basically, the JRE is a Java runtime environment. This is what you need if you're only going to run Java programs that somebody else did, such as jar files. If you are going to actually develop in Java, just like we intend to do with Eclipse, then we need the JDK, the Java Development Kit. So we'll just click here, and we get this window right here. You do have to accept the license agreement. And in my case, I am on a Windows computer, and you can just download the executable, or you can download it in a zip file and zip it and run it. It's the same thing basically. I'll just go with the executable. And we're gonna wait a second again. Perfect, we're back. So JDK downloaded, open file, and we just follow the wizard. As far as where it's going to be installed, it's going to be, in my case, the default path is program files Java JDK 12 blah blah blah. You can change it. I recommend you leave it there if you can, because Eclipse will look for it there. If you move this from the folder, then you have to tell Eclipse where your new Java installation is. Okay, so now that Java is installed, we're going to try this again, installing Eclipse. We're going to get these errors again, but now, after we go through all of them, we just wait a second, and the installer actually opens. Now keep in mind, this short tutorial is intended for students who are barely starting to work with Java, or somebody looking for a compiler for more classwork, or independent developers. There's a lot of options here, and there's even for other languages. But for now, for this tutorial, we're using Eclipse Integrated Development Environment for Java developers. Now, here's what I was saying. It's going to ask where your Java virtual machine is, and where this is installed, where I actually want to install Eclipse. So in my case, I'm going to just change the name here to Eclipse, and I'm going to install Eclipse and program files Eclipse. You can install it wherever you want. And here's my Java installation. If you did change it, if you did install it somewhere else, you have to search for it. You can use the search functionality here from Windows or in your documents, and find where your Java folder is, and it'll take you there. I don't care for, well, yeah, I don't care for a shortcut. I want to start menu maybe. All right, and we're gonna wait for the installation to complete now. Okay, we do have to agree to their certificates and then to their licenses. I trust Eclipse. And once it's down, I just click launch. Alright, so now I just need to select where my workspace is going to be. This is where all my Java projects will live at. It should be in an accessible folder. Just for this ones, I'm just going to create a new folder right here, call it Eclipse Workspace. It can actually be anywhere, and then I'm just going to tell it where it is. Select folder. I'm going to tell it to use, this is the default, and don't keep asking me every time I launch it. You can have multiple workspaces, and launch. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to close this welcome window. And the first thing I'm going to do is going to here to create a Java project. So let's do that. My project is going to be called HelloWorld. This is where it's going to be in my Eclipse workspace, which is where all my Java projects live. I'm using the Java version that I just installed. and I'm going to go to next. Alright, this is how your project's going to look like. For now, I'm just going to click finish and leave those settings. We don't care about this. And here we go. So here's my project, and here's the source folder. These are the folders from the Java runtime environment, and some of them from the Java development kit. This is what lets you run the programs. This is what we needed to install. Okay, so right now in source, just to fully test it, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to new class. Alright, so my class is going to be called HelloWorld as well. And I can use this option right here so that it actually creates my main method. I'm going to go finish. Perfect. So we have the Hello World class, we have our main method, and just to test it out, I'm going to go system.out.println Hello World. Now, you could see the autocomplete and everything, so everything seems to be running. I'm just going to run it. It's going to ask me to save. And here we go. Hello World. Perfect. So it is working inside Eclipse. Now, what if we create an actual .jar file? Will it work? Short answer, no. Here's how you do it, and here's why it doesn't work. And here's how to fix it. So first I go to File, then I go to Export, and I see all these options. Basically, I will go to Java, and then I want a runnable jar file. Okay, so I'm going to click Next, and it's going to ask me where I want it. So far I have it in the Eclipse workspace, and I have it in HelloWorld.jar. However, you gotta be careful, because when you type here in the name, don't forget to put the .jar, otherwise it'll just keep generating folders and never save it and never show anything here. Okay, you can also copy the entire path if you want. Alright, so with this, I'm going to click Finish. And conveniently, I have my Eclipse workspace right here, and I have HelloWorld.jar. Perfect. So I'm going to double click, and nothing happens. Why is that? Well, depending on what environment and how your settings are set up, this is actually, if it works, it should be opening a console window and closing it really fast. The thing is that it's printing this, but since the program doesn't have anything else to do, once it's done, it just closes up. Right? You can see it when you run it in Eclipse. If I run it, you can see this button quickly turning red and then quickly shutting down again. Here, let's see it. There you go. So this is basically the program saying, okay, I finished, I'm done. You're not asking me to show anything, no interface, no nothing. So it won't show anything at all. Now, when you're doing things that just print stuff that don't have an interface or stuff like that, there's alternate ways to do this. One of such ways, especially if you're in Windows 10, now that Windows is really pushing the PowerShell, you can shift right click, and then you can wait, let's try it again. Make sure it's not selected. Shift right click, open PowerShell window here. Okay, so we'll show this funny console window, and here is the not here. Where is it? Oh, never mind. Okay, and here is the command that you need to run your Java file. Now, this command assumes that there are no arguments. It's just the name of my application, and everything else is pretty much standard. There are other ways of running this if you use the actual command prompt. The text here, it's slightly simpler, slightly shorter, but we're going to use PowerShell for now. Okay, so I click enter, and again, nothing happened, but nothing really. If I go and check my workspace, you see where I'm putting the output in console.out, and I'm putting the errors in console.err. So I'm going to go again to my workspace. I see them here, and here are the two folders. If I actually try to open them, it's going to ask me what type of application I want to use to open it. You can just right click, open with, and you can use Notepad, or in my case I have Notepad++. That's a free app, and there's no output, right? So let's see what happened. Let's go here to the errors, and again, it cannot find Java runtime environment. It cannot find Java DLL, but what the heck, I just installed it. So the thing is, I did have it installed on my laptop before. I removed it to show the errors that would appear. when you do that, it's still trying to find my old installation or something else. That's usually an issue. So the way you fix this, I mean, it works already in Eclipse, but if you want this to work as well, you have to go to the Javapath. Basically, this part right here, C, Program Data, Oracle, Java, Javapath. If you're actually trying to see the Program Data folder and you don't see it, it's because it's a hidden folder. In order for you to see it, if you're in Windows, you have to go to View, to Options, and then View again, and then make sure that this is selected, Show Hidden Files, Folders, and Drives. Okay. Otherwise, you can just type this path and you will get here. Delete everything inside the Javapath, all the .exe. And the chance that you're using an older Windows version, you have to do something very similar, except in that case, you would have to go to C. You would have to do something very, in the case that you're using an older Windows version, you would have to go to C. You can see how this is slightly grayed out because it's hidden. You'd have to go to Windows, and somewhere around here in the Windows files, you have the System32 or the syswo64. Inside these folders, you might also have java.exe, javaw.exe, so on and so forth, the same files that we just saw. You have to delete them from there. The bad news is that after you remove them, you have to go back and reinstall Java again. All right, so what I would do is uninstall Java, go to these folders, make sure that there are no java.exes, and then reinstall Java again, and this should fix the error. All right, so one last thing, moving on. So this is my project. As students, a lot of times we actually need to switch projects around to change them from computers, send them to the professor. So what do you actually send to the professor? Well, you can just send this HelloWorld.java, and then as a professor or someone who's grading or wants to see your code, they can just go here, create a new class with the same name as yours, student class. And then what I would do is open this through Notepad or whatever they sent you, and just copy everything in between the class. Just paste it here. You can run it, save it, hello world again, it works. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. There are better ways. So let's delete this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here, and then I am going to go to Show in System Explorer. What this does is it opens a window where the project actually lives. Okay, so if I open this, I have settings, binary, source, class path, inside source, I have my hello world. So what I can do is I can send this entire folder, just copy it or zip it, and send it to my professor, to my coworker, to whoever I want. Let's assume that I did that. So if I had done that, I would put it here. Avoid having spaces or special characters. So new project. All right, so in here, I'm not going to delete it or anything. I can have multiple projects open at the same time. So what I will do is go to File, and then Import, and then General, Existing Projects into Workspace. I click Next. It's going to ask me where it is. I click Browse. I'm going to select the new project folder, select folder, and I'm just going to click Finish. And as you can see, the new project is already here. Same thing, same everything. I'm going to close this so I don't get confused. I'm going to open this copied project, run it, and there we go. It still works. So this is a safe way to transfer Eclipse projects. Just make sure that you copy the entire folder and then you import it the way we just did. All right, if you have any questions, just feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can.